welcome. Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Ramon Chen, who is the Chief Product Officer at Reltio. Hi, how are you, Ramon?
I'm doing great, Jessica. Thanks for having me on.
I want to have you talk about this data management platform that you have and how it's helping a lot of companies, in particular the healthcare and the life science companies, given the crisis that we're in. So welcome to the show, and please explain a little bit more about your technology and how it's making a positive impact.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so our technology is industry agnostic, but we do have a large number of healthcare and life sciences companies that use our technology. And we organize the data for these companies across all of their silos and make profiles that they can use to service their customers better, to improve the quality of service, but also because it's data and data is very sensitive, it's important to stay compliant. So the data that they bring together is across multiple systems, and they use it in the context of healthcare and life sciences in this current crisis. They use it to communicate better with the physicians, the hospitals, and the organizations at the front lines as they're developing solutions and as they're taking care of their patients using that data within the Reltio platform.
I see. So if they were looking for the background information of a patient that's coming in, they may need to pull that information from various systems to have a complete picture of the patient and then be able to take care of that patient appropriately. So your technology is enabling them to have that complete picture by breaking down the silos. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's typically called a 360-degree view, meaning that data about yourself, your health, or your history, what plans you're on in terms of an insurance, your lab results, all of those things are siloed in different systems. It's just the way applications and IT have different systems to store different things. But in order for somebody to get the complete view, a technology like Reltio needs to associate that you're the same Jessica in the different systems, because there may be different pieces of information. Your last name may have been different because you may have been recently gotten married. So there's identifiers like your address, your cell phone number that allows the data to be brought together. So now you have a one-rounded view.
You mentioned compliance, which I know that there's the HIPAA compliance, there's the GDPR, and now with the recent California data protection law and all that. What some of the shifts that you're seeing that companies are doing to try to make sure they're compliant?
So very fortunately for them, Reltio is automatically compliant because we foresaw that as you bring this data together, there would be very strict laws around what you would be allowed to show and manage in terms of privacy and consent for the data. So as such, Reltio has built into the system a way of managing consent and the way of complying so that when somebody uses and exercises their right to be forgotten, which is one of the GDPR and CCPA type requirements, meaning that they want their data removed and expunged from the systems, Reltio automatically has discovered all the places where the data is held, and that task is accomplished legally and compliantly.
Wow, that's very convenient for them.
It is, and it's convenient, and it saves money because you can get fined, as you know, Jessica, a significant amount of money for not being able to comply.
Yes, and I think right now there are just a lot of people scrambling to make sure they are compliant, and at the same time, data is everywhere. There's just so much data, but I mean, to be able to make sure that you are pulling the right information and having the right picture to have the right insights to make decisions, that's so crucial for people to compete in this environment.
You're exactly right. So compliance is typically something that is an afterthought and a very expensive proposition. And many companies, unfortunately, have to invest separately to comply and invest separately to have systems so that they can market better. So Reltio fused both of these capabilities into one platform. So if you think of being aggressive in terms of personalization and customization and better customer experience as playing offense, to use a sports analogy, and then compliance as playing defense, Reltio has both built in. So you kind of get a 2-for-1, which is why companies really like us.
Are you guys hiring in this environment? Because I hear a lot of companies are like pausing on the hiring, but are you actually hiring?
So like any of the other companies out there, we're taking a hard look at the current situation. So we want to be mindful of not over hiring in this current environment. So we do have a situation right now where our number one focus is to look after the people that are employed with us. So we've had no layoffs, to be clear, and we're focused 100% on our people that we have today. And we believe we run a as a technology company, we use our own technology, by the way, as you might imagine, to organize our own customers' data, that are customers that belong to us. So we gain the same efficiencies using our own technology, drinking our own champagne, if you will. And that has allowed us to be able to scale without necessarily just incrementally adding headcount.
So you are in a very good position then. Okay, I want to shift to your leadership position, Ramon. As a chief product officer, this is a product management role.
That's
But
correct.
you came from the engineering background where you've done a lot of non-engineering marketing. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the career advancement, the journey, and for those who want to go from that engineering role to a leadership position, what do you have to share with them on the career advancement?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting question because moving from engineering to product management is very much, if you're an engineer, it's like going over to the dark side, right? You're essentially sort of all of a sudden going to an area that's a little bit scary. It's a little unknown. It requires a lot more interaction directly with customers, but many can make the leap, and many do make the leap. I recommend to people that in order to be successful in a product management role, your engineering background is absolutely extremely valuable because you already have a heads up and technically understand a lot more than you would from the domain perspective. But being a product manager requires soft skills, social skills. Because product management is all about interacting with various stakeholders, including external parties like customers, as well as different groups and within your own organization. So being socially confident, being able to also present and be articulate and to be able to represent your perspectives in a very strong, I don't want to say opinionated, but clear and concise manner will really help you make the transition.
I see. I think that often people are shy away from having an opinion or to share their ideas. Um, and so that may limit their ability to be exposed to those who are in power to really view them as potentially a leader. Have you found that to be the case, that speaking up is actually the thing that you consciously practice doing?
I am fortunate because I happen to enjoy public speaking and presenting and sharing ideas and interacting with people. So it hasn't been a problem for me, but I have seen situations where engineers have struggled to make the move itself. The great thing about being in a technology environment like Reltio is that when you put the customer first, you have to talk to the customer and you've got to interact with them. So we have technology our technology is being used across a whole variety of different industries, including retail, high tech, and healthcare and life sciences, as you described, financial services. And in those environments, it's very important to extract the challenges and understand the domains of these customers. So you really are put in a position where you have no choice, right? To be successful in the role, you have to have good customer and partner interaction.
Okay, well, that comes with sometimes you're naturally born as someone who is an outgoing person who enjoys conversations. Others who are introverts might need to practice a lot more of that speaking opportunities, right?
Yeah, that's true. And to be honest with you, I'm not necessarily always outgoing. I mean, I sort of have a little switch that I flip on that sort of makes me focused and thinking about the more sort of social interactions. I'm because of my Asian background, I'm generally sort of more reserved, right, during personal social situations. But you kind of have to step up, right? You've got to have the persona that represents your company and represents the technology that you have, because you are the sort of evangelist, if you will, right, in this particular role. Product manager is, part requirements gatherer, part translator for engineering to build the right capabilities, but evangelism is absolutely key as well. You have to have passion for your product and passion for your company.
Okay, those are excellent tips to share. So I appreciate you being on the show and talking about this technology and how it's helping healthcare and life science. Any changes that you see happening now that you think it's going to stay even after we are back to going outside?
Yeah, the technology that Reltio has is not just for the bad times, although it's particularly important now as well due to the amount of data that needs to be gathered and how responsive companies in healthcare and life sciences need to be. Without getting too technical, the way our technology works is that we bring the data together from multiple sources, but you can add new sources at any time. And Reltio connects everything together like a big jigsaw puzzle. The way the information gets assembled is now then compliant for things like machine learning, analytics, all of those things that require a whole lot of pre-work before you can actually gain the insights that you need in order to deliver a true customer experience. When things settle down, and we're all believing that it will, that level of service and expectation in this experience economy, people are calling it, doesn't go away. In fact, the impact that it's having now to brick and mortar retailers is reiterating how critical it is that a technology like Reltio be put on the priority list in order for them to evolve in this new digital age.
Are you seeing then an acceleration in adopting your technology?
Absolutely. The customers that already were customers of ours have basically redoubled their efforts and actually accelerated their deployments of Reltio, and also look to expand the usage by bringing in more sources of data in order to get an even more complete picture of how they can help their customers. And then the customers that are not yet, the prospects that are not yet customers of Reltio have told us that this is still number one on their priority list. Now is not the time not to invest, is their mindset, because if anything, what this shows is that companies like Amazon, from a commercial perspective, have a huge lead over these companies that have not yet made this notion of digital transformation.
Wise. Okay. Ramon, I think, like data management, it's a tough one. A lot of companies face challenges in that area because it's not like you have a technology and you put in place and then everything is good, right?
Yeah, exactly. Data is a living organism, right? Much like your garden, it requires constant care, and you have to continuously manage it. And that's what Reltio does, and at scale. So not so much a garden. Most of our customers have, football fields of data that needs to be maintained, billions and billions of records. And the amount of effort it takes for them to maintain this data varies up and down and needs to scale. That's why we're native and born in the cloud. So we've got that sort of Amazon, Google DNA within the company that allows our customers to not have to worry about scaling data up and down. The end result of what Reltio does is critical because we make the data better, we make the data compliant, and we make it high quality so that everybody in your organization can safely consume the data and get the most out of it, whether it's analytics or machine learning, or if you're using the most popular applications out there like Salesforce.com or any other applications, we make those applications better so that your people have the latest information at their fingertips in a compliant and high quality way.
Well, thank you so much, Ramon, for being on the show to talk about data management in the cloud and impacting the healthcare environment. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, Jessica. I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
There you have it. Take it up with Jessica Lee, Ramon Chen from Reltio.